When you chase something, it automatically wants to run away from you. Have you ever noticed when you're playing with a dog, how if you chase that dog, it'll continue to run away from you? And yet, if you start to surrender and relax, that dog will come up to you to try and get you to play. When we put our validation within ourselves and instead trying to seek validation from everybody else and everything, that's when we become more magnetic. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to become more magnetic and less worried about what other people think. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michaela, and I help people heal their trauma and live more expansive lives. Striving for validation bubbles up in so many different ways. It can look like perfectionism. So maybe you're afraid of letting people in. And so everything that you do is super perfect on the outside, looking perfect. Or if you're working on a project, you will not let it go unless it is absolutely to a T perfect. Another one is just being maybe loud in crowds, where if there's a party going on, you're always the loudest. You're always trying to say something maybe that's a little bit over the top, or it could also look as being like the quietest one because you're trying to paint this picture of being someone that you're not instead of letting people in vulnerably. It can also look like doing things that we don't want to do, signing up for things that overextend us and make us feel super uncomfortable. It can also look like wearing too revealing of clothes, always trying to attract that perfect mate. If you resonate with any of these, then you probably are always striving for validation. Now, the first cure to any problem is awareness. Awareness is key. I like to think of awareness as a pebble in my shoe. I could probably walk around with this pebble in my shoe for a while, but eventually I'm gonna get so sick and tired that I gotta pick it out of my shoe and I gotta toss it. And it's the same with validation. So if you start to kind of look into this and you watch my video and you have this awareness of the need to let go of that validation, just know that, yeah, you might not be able to get rid of it right away, but as you start to kind of identify, it's going to build up so much eventually that you have to take care of it. And I know that within my own personal story that, when I first started to recognize this trait, validation is everything for me. My dad left when I was younger, and then my mom was super neglectful because she was going through her own thing. And what that reflected on was that I needed to strive for validation to get that love and care that I never got as a kid. And so, it has manifested in my adult life. And I've started to really notice this like 4 years ago, and I am still working on it. And it has gotten so much better over time, but it's still something, a work in progress. It's kind of like whack-a-mole where you're going to kind of notice it and you're going to just be like, okay, can I take it back a notch? And then, you kind of work through it. But as you start to gain some more coping skills, it will go away eventually, a lot better at least. This abandonment wound happens when we were probably much younger. And when we didn't get those needs met, we learned to tap into everybody else around us and to see kind of what they wanted from us. And we would mold and manipulate ourselves into whatever they wanted instead of tapping into truly what we wanted. So first and foremost, know that this is completely natural. If you felt like you were abandoned as a kid, it's no wonder why you are seeking that validation today. And it might not be in the healthiest ways. Maybe you do it in a way that's a little bit too provocative or however it manifests. Just forgive yourself, because really what's happening is you're trying to get that love and care that you didn't receive as a kid. And that is not your fault. But as adults, we start to realize that yes, that trauma did happen. Yes, that did happen to me in my past life. But now I have the ability to kind of help myself fix this issue. When we abandon ourselves to everybody around us, we can really not even be in tune with what we truly like or what we truly want. And so awareness is absolutely the first key, but then it comes a little bit further. To really be able to tackle this issue is to become present within your own body and in your own thoughts. And really recognize if you say yes to something when you really want to say no, then practicing saying no is okay. No is a full sentence. You don't owe anybody your time and your space, especially if it makes you not so present or not so fulfilled. It's okay to say no to fulfill your own bucket. The best way to help your validation piece is to stop abandoning yourself. Stop abandoning yourself. So really pay attention to your body, your wants, and your desires. Maybe journal about it and really start to see, like, what do I want? Separate it from my relationship, separate from the kids, separate from my parents or my brother and sister or my friends, and really get in tune with your body and how you feel. Put that energy on yourself. And when we do that, it's scary because we've been living our entire lives surrounded on what other people may want from us. And we think then, well, nobody's going to like me or people are going to abandon me. And that's like what I'm trying to avoid. But the reality is that people might fall away as you start to speak your authentic truth and as you start to pay attention to what you actually want. That is a possibility. But in the long run, that seems like a very fake relationship if somebody abandons you because you start to speak your authentic truth. And because maybe you didn't want to go to a birthday party of someone's, and if you just say no and you get honest and just be like, it sounded good when I made the plan, but I really don't feel like it. Instead of making up this lie about whatever, which also isn't in alignment spiritually, right? Just saying no. And know that the people that truly understand you and truly care about you will understand. And the people that don't, it's a fake relationship. We don't need those relationships in us. My favorite YouTuber, Aaron Doughty, talks about this one event where there was somebody speaking and she said, okay, I want you to do a little trick with me right now. And she said, I want you guys to put all your attention and focus on me. And what she says is that when you put your attention and focus on her, she feels taken back and she doesn't feel good. And she's like, okay, now take the attention and put it on me, or put it on yourselves. And in that, she starts to feel like this peace and calm. And when we start to put that energy on ourselves and less on other people, we truly become more magnetic. If you've ever noticed when you chase a dog, or like when you're playing with a dog and you go to chase the dog is going to run further, further, further. But if you kind of surrender and you just relax, that dog eventually is going to come to you. It's the same thing energetically. So whatever if you're trying to manifest better relationships where you're not going to be abandoned, really practice not abandoning yourself and being your authentic self. Because we've abandoned ourselves for so long, it's so common that we lose that self-care ritual. I know for me, the way that manifested was it seemed like I did do my self-care. When I was, 19 to 21, I worked out like crazy. I would work out 3 hours a day, 6 times a week. I would run 10 miles. I would lift weights, every day. And this made me so sick. It was like more of an obsession than it was like healthy. But I truly believed that I was taking care of myself. But really what I was doing was I was seeking unhealthy validation from others. What started to happen was my toenails, because I was running so much, would start to lift and like almost like fell off. Like that's how bad this obsession was. And, but I was so emotionally tied to looking a certain way and fitting my body into a place that actually wasn't very healthy. I didn't take care of, like, my body was trying to tell me like, hey, you're literally like ripping your toenails off right now. And instead I just kept pushing. And so when we stop abandoning ourselves, even though it might look like self-care, to really assess, like, is this self-care because I want to look a certain way to other people so that way I don't have to really let them in? Or is it a way of me to really taking care of myself? Because in my story, what would have really been taking care of myself is really allowing myself that space to let my nails heal, to do the care that really needed, do foot soaks, whatever it is, instead of like constantly striving to look a certain way or to fit myself into something that isn't even natural. The cool thing about self-care, genuine self-care, is that you start to become a better version of yourself, and you start to feel more better and confident from within. Not the makeup, not the hair, the way the hair is styled, but truly like that true self-care of really listening to your body and to your wants and your desires. You and yourself raise your vibration. You start to feel better, and it makes you more magnetic. And the people that fall away, they fall away. And you will develop these more genuine relationships. I remember when I first got sober, one of the hardest things for me was transitioning from that group of friends that I used to use with to that group of friends that I am now sober with. I loved my friends so much, the people that I used to party with, but I started to realize what a superficial level it was at. And unfortunately, as I started to speak my authentic truth and come out about my sobriety and my journey, these people didn't like it. They didn't like it, and they started to fall away, and they got jealous and they got bitter. And it hurts my heart because I have so much genuine love for these people, even to this day. But as I've started to let go of those more toxic relationships, my world has been able to expand to more deep and powerful relationships. And it has taken me a long time. I went through a lot of different sponsors in the beginning. I went through different phases of friendships to really find my tribe. And now it's like my sponsor is my best friend. Like, we talk every day, and I just have this community around me that in the beginning I didn't feel confident enough to be my true authentic self, as I'm like unveiling all these different layers of an onion. I start to realize like my true authentic self. And the more I'm true to myself, the more meaningful relationships come, and I'm able to trust that I'm not going to be abandoned by the people that truly do love and care about me. And I'm able to realize too that friendships and these relationships, there are ebbs and flows. Nothing is here forever, and that people serve a purpose during the time. I look back at my old friendships, when I was using, and man, they served me so freaking well when I was out there. And then the people when I first got sober, they served me so freaking well, and I helped them and they helped me. And as I start to evolve and evolve more, I feel like I'm on this path of gaining deeper and deeper insight to better relationships and being free to just be myself. Speaking your authentic truth is a practice. It's not going to be super easy in the beginning when you've had this habit throughout your entire childhood and your adulthood. But as you become aware, you start to realize it, and you're able to tackle the problem. And always just put that energy back onto yourself and pay attention to what you want, and to let go of what other people think, because you can't please everybody, but the people that do matter will come back around to you. The biggest realization I had about speaking my authentic truth was that I was living a life of fakeness beforehand, because I was doing things that I didn't want to do that weren't in alignment with me. And now I'm able to come from a place of the people that actually really do matter to me. I'm able to show up because I want to, not because they want me to so I can get the love that I want. That's manipulation. And when I was able to start to speak from that truth, I realized that I was able to help people in a more deep and meaningful way than ever before. Because I, just like you, have this specific medicine to help somebody that nobody else has on this planet. What you have to say absolutely matters. And if you keep covering it up because you're afraid to be your true authentic self, you're doing the world a disservice. What you have to say matters, and there is something for medicine for somebody else when you start to be your authentic self. So to wrap this up, just put that energy back onto yourself. Become aware of exactly how you're feeling, and really practice on creating and carving out that space for yourself. And in that, you'll know that you're becoming more magnetic to the people who are genuinely meant to be in your life. That self-care piece is so important, and a genuine self-care, really treating your body well, eating healthy, doing the bike, but within moderation, not because you want to look a certain way, but because your body deserves it, because your self-care, your being deserves it. And know that by practicing this, that you are on the right path to living a more expansive life. If this resonated, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe. And also be sure to check out my other videos on abandonment wounds and how to help yourself. I have 4 other videos coming out that also tackles different abandonment wounds. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in one of my next videos. Bye.